because in reality, you change the job. The jobs that you have some years ago is not the same that you have now. Change the slide, please. For example, I remember when I was manager in this company with 17,000 employees, was one company of data processing, and the idea was they are responsible for to put online all the data about incomes. So what happened, what I'm talking about 25 years ago, if I'm 21 years here, so 25, 30 years ago, that they are responsible, so all Brazil send the incomes, and these employees are responsible to put online. Okay. I remember that I contracted that time 1,000 employees between January and July. I contracted as for determined contract, that because in this period I need that they put all the documents online. It was like just in my city, just in my region, in the south of Brazil, just in my region, it was 1,000 employees every year was the same thing. What happened when I finished, when I leave the company, I remember that we didn't contract anyone. Okay, so during years and years we contract 1,000, and after that no more. Why? Because the people started to do their incomes online alone, and so you don't need more this profession. And why? Because the technology was for everyone, and the technology caused this job suppression. If you see, for example, in terms of the bank, I remember once that you go to the bank and there was like 25, 30 cashiers. Nowadays, if you met one, is too much. And what happened with that 25 cashiers? Doesn't exist more. The profession doesn't exist. They use these guys in another activity in the bank. So nowadays with AI and because of the technology, step by step, a lot of professions was suppression. And the first moment, the reaction is, I don't like this because I lose my job because of that. My nephew, she's marketing design, and she write for editors in magazines the opinion about the products, okay? And she worked in Portugal. She worked in one company that a real company that was responsible, like a consultant company of marketing, that they are responsible to do that for any products. When AI appeared, in 1 month, they reduce the employees for 50%, and after they remain with a 2. And so they dismiss almost 25 employees in 2 months. Okay? Why? Because they said it's not necessary. AI, ChatGPT, do this for us in 30 seconds and 1 minute and so on. Okay? So the first impact of this is like I don't want, because replace the machine for because it's cheaper, it's faster, and finish with the job and the human being. So it's not that it's correct or incorrect, but this is what happened and not happened just now. This is the point, okay, that I would like to highlight. It's not just the point for AI. This happened sometimes, this is happening, but we forgot to pay attention. As I told you, 30 years ago was the same, and each time that you replace or you create one new technology, this impacting the job. And in reality, what you need to do is to improve the new jobs, to choose new jobs, to look for how you can use better this technology, and how you can, and the example of the bank for me is the best one, because they worry with this and they try to improve the knowledge of all these cashiers. They become managers, account managers that inside of the bank, okay? Which means that you need to open our mind and to think how this change in the life, okay? Not just to stay and say, no, cut the job and what are you doing in the future. But probably is one consequence also. You can't say, no, it's not replace because sometimes I listen, no, AI don't replace the jobs. Don't think this way, because there are some jobs that probably they will replace, okay? I'm not sure, but it's not. You can try to say, no, don't worry, AI just help you, don't replace, and so on. This is true. The idea is that the AI help you, but if you don't replace or not, you need to think in the future that how you improve your job, that in terms that AI don't replace you. Okay, this is the best way. Could you change, please? And you can see, I love TED.com. I always recommend all my students, please, once per month, see one video in TED.com. I professor each one you want. Why? Because open your mind. You always try to see what happened around the world, what you have new. But it's not my area, don't worry. You really need to use your brain. And it's just 15 minutes if you use your brain to improve your capacity, your competence, your knowledge. Fantastic. And so this is just one parenthesis, always try to see one video. And if it's the TED, I recommend, because normally it's a very selected videos, but which one you want, okay? And if you enter in TED, there are a lot of, I select some ones just to recommend to see after. Is some videos that talk about the future, talk about how you live with this, in terms of the future jobs, how you prepare yourself for all these consequences of the AI and the technology, okay? Could you change, please? So, but this is not the negative, we can say, but what is the positive in terms of HR? You have simpler, faster, and smarter. Because normally I'm talking about multinationals and big data. Big data, technology is really, really important. But in the small companies also, because small companies, you need to think that you don't have one biggest team to take care about this. So if it's possible, you have technology that help you to do, and here if AI for HR in the small companies is the best thing. Because I prefer that you have one AI working with these functions, that you don't have anyone worry with AI, HR in the small companies. Okay, so in reality, AI is fantastic for both small and biggest. Biggest is easier to see because the productivity, you have a lot of data that nowadays, if you think in the past that you needed to do by hand, now you have this facility. And when I talk about the past, guys, normally you are very young. I don't talk about the 100 years ago. I'm talking about 30 years ago. Okay, when I started to work, I remember that salary. I was in the HR area, and the salary you do with a little machine. It's a little calculator. It's not with all these fantastic things that you have nowadays. And so was completely different, and this is the same generation that people continues to work with the same, probably the same company, which means that you follow all this changement of the technology. I think that I put in the next slide, please, just to show you what happened, the evolution. This is just is one slide that I took in the internet. I'm sorry, but I didn't put the source because I didn't find the source. Okay, in reality, I really like this little summarize that they put the paper-based system, and all this is the last 40 years. Okay, you have all these stages. So we don't talk about 100 years, 200 years. No, we are talking about in the last 40 years, you have all this evolution. What happened with the companies and countries? You have some countries here in the stage 4, and with almost all the companies in the stage 4, and you have countries in the stage 3. Okay, some ones because of money just in stage 2, but the financial reasons. But I know a lot of situations that they continue just with database systems, not web-based technology. Okay, and inside of France, and I'm not talking about developing and developed countries. I'm talking about the developed countries also. In France and Italy, it's common you met companies in electronic database systems. They don't use web and intelligence artificial, no way. Okay, so it's a difference, and normally HR is the same. They continues with HR just to focus on payroll, sorry. They're just in payroll, not in all the functions of HR. Okay, so you always, when you study international HR, you see that the evolution of the company in terms of HR sometimes not follow the evolution of the company in terms of the production and the product. Okay, so you can see that sometimes the production, the line of production of the company is amazing. Is one company completely high company in terms of technology also, but in terms of HR, it's terrible. Okay, why? Because depends of the CEO, depends of the values of the company, where you put your focus. Okay, and the technology is the same. So there are CEOs that put focus in technology, and here is that they put focus in technology but not in HR, and in another case put focus in HR but not in technology. So it's a really complicated sense. Next, please. And I always try to put positive and negative. There is studies about the negative impact in in your health. So the permanent exposure to the electromagnetic waves can produce some effects in your health. So there is one French law proposal article where they recommend that you disconnect the digital tools outside of the working time, outside of your job. Because the problem and this generation, Zeta and Y, is not just millennials, but the millennials from now, they are, I always joking that is, their hand is one configuration with the cell phone. It's together. They have always faces. Impossible you see just the hair. But the problem is that you really, but we don't talk about mental health. We are here talk about. Erish, please, you'd like to do the question?
Yeah. Professor Ayan, you want to?
Ma'am, it's a very interesting session, but we would like to just ask questions to to keep it more interactive. That's okay with you.
No, second question पूछिए.
This,
You have one question more पूछिए.
yeah.
But I don't know if I do the pose. I open the questions now or I wait
Just to ensure that the
finish.
Yeah,
students.
question पूछिए.
Yeah.
But in any case, I have Erish that asks.
You should ask it.
Yeah,
We are not
yeah,
right.
Dr. Rusano, it's really a very interesting session.
Okay, guys, I will do this way. I talk more than 8 minutes, and after I open for all the questions and the sense
Unmute करो.
It's okay, you can.
Dr. Rusano, are we audible to you? Am I audible to you?
Yes, I listen.
Yeah, actually your session is very interesting. And certainly it's very, we are learning many things from the session, madam. And very good session we are going through. So, we had one question, one of our members. The second point which is mentioned on this slide, it's talking about French laws, proposes an article where the idea of right to disconnect, to use the digital tools outside the working time. So that's where, if you could just elaborate that, ma'am, it would be really great to understand. That second point is mentioned there. French laws proposes an article. The second point on the slide, ma'am.
Yes, I understood. The second point is the French.
Yeah.
We have one proposal of the article
Yeah,
that
please elaborate.
is not a law. In reality, is the guys that work with this, they try to propose one. It's just one proposal, it's not a law yet.
We would like to understand more, like outside the working time means what? If you could just elaborate that point. This is our question.
Yeah, in reality, that this is for specific guys that work with the technology, because you pass 8 hours a day with all these instruments and receive these electromagnetic waves. And what they propose is when you go to your house, try to disconnect this. Because normally what you read is you're reading about is that disconnect, don't stay connected all the time because your mental health. But in this case, it's not because of the mental health. In this case, they ask because your health, physical health, that is better. You don't stay 16 hours with the contact with the electromagnetic waves. So how you need to stay inside of the work with this contact, they recommend that when you finish work, please don't use more.
Okay.
Okay? But it's not possible, it's not mandatory how you do that in the private life.
True.
So this is why they create this, they said this article, they said to try to more conscious of the population that please don't use more.
Yeah, it's a good
They-
proposal, madam. Good proposal. It's a good proposal, madam. It's a good thought for the employees. Yeah,
I don't think.
the proposal is very good, and certainly it's very beneficial to the people who are working. Very good. Please continue.
Yeah, this is the idea, but I don't know. And you need to think that in France, you have the manifestation, they don't accept the things this way. Probably they will say, look, I use, you need to create something to help me in my health, not just me, because in reality, according to the culture, French culture, is health and health. You give me something and I will give you something. What you are asking me is just my free time, not your time. Okay, this is the philosophy in France. So they are debating about this, how you can reduce this impact inside of the work, and you give you for my time in my house. Okay, so they are discussing to arrive one. And they don't think that is their health, but in any case, this is the moment that what happened now.
Yeah.
Okay. Please, could you change the slide? Okay, so enter specific selection, because this is what just the contest, and enter specific selection. How I use AI selection? Normally the people talk about algorithm, and here enter how can help me in this. I remember 30 years ago, I did a selection process for Chrysler when they arrived in Brazil. They opened one factory in Curitiba, in my city, and I received for one position 1,150, something like that, 1,100 CVs for one position. Okay, 10 years ago, what you needed to see, what you need to do, you needed to read 1,000 curriculums. You needed to select the CVs, you needed to call the guys, come here and do the selection process, okay? And so was like 6 months doing, more than 6 months doing this selection, to have a really good selection for one person, okay, was one position. With AI, what happened? You do this in one day, because in reality, when you create one day is too much, but in any case, you create the algorithm, the correct algorithm, and here, please, pay attention in bias, because you always have one human being behind to create this algorithm. And so pay attention because I listened in the past, but a woman don't enter, there is one bias with a woman during this AI process. It's because the guy that created the algorithm has this bias. So you need to pay attention when you create the algorithm to arrive there. Okay? So always in the process, it's like when you put the ChatGPT, it's you really need to put the correct prompt. If you don't put the correct question, you don't have a correct answer. It's like this. Okay, but in any case, what happened? You have a good selection in this sense, but here start the questions in terms of the intuition, the validity of this process. In the end, the algorithm selects the best person, if they do this in human, with intuition, will be better or not. The quality of the process. So the human judgment need to continue. I will show you the next slides, but I would like to stay here a little bit more. Do you see that in reality you have one balance between both? In my opinion, this is my opinion. In my opinion, you use both. If I had at that time the AI to do the selection, I did until the last 20 people. Okay, the 1,100, I select with AI until 20 or 10 people. Okay. The last 10 people, I will do my selection with the human judgment. Okay? Why? Because, but this is I. Okay? Because I needed to see the eyes, I needed to feel it, I needed to analyze, and I need. But to arrive in this, okay, it's not necessary you see all the people. And in reality, what happened with the AI is the transparency and efficiency and the velocity, and you don't have, I prefer that person because I prefer just because of that. Sometimes you see in the selection process, I don't know why, but I prefer this one. This is not correct, and so is one kind of the problem. Could you change, please? So, in reality, you can use the AI in different moments of the selection. So, first of all, to analyze the CV, this is amazing. And in this sense, you cut a lot of people because sometimes this is one tendency of the human being. They send the CV if is inside of with the competence or not, but is one way to the company see him. And so you receive a lot of CVs that, but if they are contract, I'm sending, I'm contractor engineer, and I receive the CV from assistant, completely different things that I asked. But the people try to put their CVs. And so this algorithm to analyze the CVs is amazing. And the first personality assessment, this is really good also, as I told you, because in reality, I put in the selection with steps. So the first step, the analysis of the CV, that this is AI. The second one, he could analyze the personality and help you also with this conversational agenda and schedules, and so you. But here enter the good parts because improves candidate experience and the talk with them, and so you receive the feedback in the end. And video interview, you can ask them to do AI to do this video interview, and the predictive models. In the end, you have, as I told you, probably in the end, I prefer to do minimum the 3 or 4 last interviews to choose the correct one. Why? Because the next slide, please. Because the intuition is really important in these situations. How is the situation to use this around the world? In North America, you saw a lot of robust experimentation with AI selection. There are legal focus with compliance, but in reality, in selection process, this aspect of compliance is high in United States before the AI. For example, reference letters and the reference that you call. United States is a very rigorous with these legal focus. Is a really, when you call for one reference, it's amazing to do the difference. If you call in France for someone that you put as a reference, the guy say, no, it's amazing because this, or no, I don't like because this employee is not good because they are. So you can have one feedback. In the United States, when you call to take the reference for some employee, they say this employee worked here between this period point. Okay, so this is the reference that they give for you. And why? Because of the legal focus. And so in AI, they use the same thing for the probably risk they try to avoid. In terms of the Europe, you have this database privacy with GDPR compliance. GDPR is a general data processing. I don't remember well, but is a European way to protect the data privacy of everyone. In any case, the emphasis in Europe is worker rights. They continue and they try to shape evolving AI regulations, but they continue with intuition more than algorithm. Asia, Middle East, and Global South focus on scale and efficiency. So in reality, the use of AI is in technology, strongly technology in finance and big data and so on, and emerging adoption in multinational infrastructure and data quality. And so you see that step by step they are growing. You see, I will show you after there is another slide that I will come back on this. Next, please. So, faster, this is the most important, but not just faster, because as I told you, you do in one day, but the most important also that is standardized the decisions, okay? You are equity, not equality. In reality, here is the problem of equality and equity. The opposite, sorry. You are more equality with AI, and with intuition you are more equity. And so here, but in any case, you standardize the decisions. You have a transparency because you can publicize with the kind of the things that you are looking for, and low cost because it's not. It's in one day that if you compare with 6-7 months before, so you reduce the cost, you improve the outcomes because you reduce the use of the perception, and this perception normally could be you can choose wrong. The next one. So, but, as I told you, but intuition is always important, okay? Why? Because that's knowledge that the feeling, okay? The feeling that this guy is the best for my company. So it's really important. In the end, you have have this interpersonal trust when you see. I know that the trust you can develop by internet because step by step that you started to talk and you work with people by internet, globally distributed teams, for example, you develop the trust with this person. You never met, but you develop. But is one process that you need the time. When you do the selection process, you need it to be faster. And so you don't have all this time to develop this trust. And face to face, it's easier to be faster to develop. And so in this sense, intuition here is better. And the ethical in terms of treatment and it's I always say that you don't replace the selection with AI, but AI is help you too much in the process. Okay, you can use until almost the end of the selection during the recruitment and in the selection, but you don't replace completely. Probably you replace the quantity of the person that you need to do the selection. Okay, as I told you, 1,000, I need minimum 5 people to analyze all the CVs. And with AI, it's not necessarily just one. So you replace in this sense, but you don't replace completely the process. You always continue the need of the human being to finalize the process, to finalize the intuition. Could you change, please? Here, as I told you, for example, in the US, in terms of the hiring, in terms of specific selection, you have in US the technological firms, tech firms, always strong focus on legal compliance, but they use in almost all United States this hiring process. Okay. In Europe, in general, they are using in European bank. Okay, for the banks, they support for video interviews. In reality, because how you need to change, and they are looking for intercultural managers, international managers, and they change the countries, and they are looking for these guys in different countries, and so they use a lot these interviews, but again with human review in there. Okay, so they use this mix with AI, but help a lot. In Asia commerce, e-commerce, you see a lot of high volume of AI chatbots in multiple languages, and they put employer branding in final engagement. So you see that different areas and different countries, how they are using the AI for help in the HR. Okay, next. So, what in terms of the practical, what you can leave with me on this? First, you need to put in your mind that start with a specific selection to choose the tools. So have clear in your mind what you need, what you want, what is the possibility, as I told you, how many CVs that you receive, and what you need from AI, and create your selection process, all the tools according to that. So design this, detect the process, and train change everything according to your needs. This is really important. When you do this design, combine analyticals and qualitative evidence. In other words, combine algorithm with intuition. This is the best way. Ethical capabilities always. So the reality is the best thing is you try to combine all the time how I use AI. As I told you, in the biggest company, just highlight again, in the biggest company, you can use for the big data is amazing. But remember also that for the small companies, AI help you because you are alone. And so in terms of the interviews, and you don't have someone to exchange your opinion about it. And sometimes you are not one expert of HR, you just contract the people. And if you contract, if you are responsible to hire someone, you have AI as one person that you exchange the vision about the performance. Okay, so AI could help you to create the process and to do the process, and in the end you do the interview with all this support to take a decision. Okay, but always remember that the decision is for the human being. And here enter the last two slides that I would like to finish. Please change. Change the slide.
It's complete, sir. Done? Complete. Presentation is done. The one more slide. Yeah, this is presentation. We are struggling to make it interesting.
There is a problem with the slide.
If you have questions, you can come back and ask.
Okay. Just to summarize what I said, what you need to pay attention is that the world has changed. And so nowadays we need new ideas, new ways to do the things, new teaching methods, new projects, new paradigms, new leaders. It's not possible to continue in the same place. It's not possible. I say, I don't like technology. I don't like to speak English. I don't like to travel. I don't like to have a class online. I don't like to teach online. Excuse me, this is the new world. Okay, so I need to change myself. Change the slide, please. And here you can see what happened, what is the impact with the human being. Could you change?
Is this the last one or you have one slide?
I think this was the last slide now.
While he is changing. What I put the focus is that how I needed to change, how I needed to accept this technology and the globalization and the AI is that never more is required of human beings in organization than ever before. Okay? If I compare, because sometimes I think this way, the globalization is one thing that happened with the world. It's economical, it's a financial, it's not with me. And I would like to finalize my speech to invite you one reflection, how globalization impacted in your life, in your personal life, okay? Not in globalization of the economy, but in your life. And think this way, the creation and launch of new products in the past, okay, you create the freezer, if you remember, I don't know if you remember that one that you opened this way, not horizontal, but vertical way, okay? Why? Why you remember this? Because probably they exist. They was in your grandmother house. Yeah, because in that time, when the engineer created that freezer, was for 40 years. Okay, the freezer was like 40 years in your house. Nowadays, one freezer is 40 years. After 4 years, you needed to do the manutention. But what happened with the guys that created the freezer in the past? During your work life, you create one or two freezers. Nowadays, you create one each 4 years, okay? Which means that your creativity is much more than in the past. Okay? When I bought my cell phone, I remember that the first cell phone, I stayed with that one for 2 years until I changed the new model. Nowadays, I think that I just buy one, next week you have a new one. Which means that the guy that created cell phones in the past, that we're talking about 10 years, the guy that create is not too much, create one in each 10 years. And now, no. Now is once per month, and you need to follow this. So change the way that the organization asks you to survive. Okay, and the life is in constant negotiation. In the past, you negotiate also, but the difference was that you negotiate in your language, with your culture, in your zone comfort. Nowadays, you need to negotiate with another culture, in another language. So just to think this way, I'm a Brazilian professor that I teach in France. Okay, so professor, I don't want to change the country. I will continue to live here in France. It's okay. It's not necessary to change. It's the same for you. You don't need to change India. You can continue to live there, but the people arrive. Okay? So you need to deal with a different cultures the same way, if you like or not. Which means that you need to know about culture, you need to know how you negotiate with the different cultures, because it's not the same, it's another process, and I needed to adapt myself with this, okay? When I started to work a long time ago, I remember that the fact that I speak English was, wow, fantastic, you speak English. Nowadays, it's a prerequisite, okay? It's not wow. To be wow is because you speak 5 languages, okay? But it's not too much wow in my classes, for example, that all my students speak minimum 3 languages, because they speak English, French, and their nationality. I have a lot of students from another countries. So the minimum there is 3 languages. This is the reality. So if I would like to be competitive, I need to change. Okay? 30 years ago, when I went to Lausanne, okay, I remember that I I received the bill out after the result.
Ma'am, thank you so much for your valuable time, Dr. Zen.
Excuse me?
I said, this is Ayan Thakur. I said,
So I
Let her
just
complete.
finished.
Answer.
2 minutes and I
Answer.
finished.
Answer.
No, in reality, I remember that I received this
Then-
bill
Madam, let her complete.
6 months after, which means that
Complete करने दीजिए.
the hotel stays 6 months without receive. Nowadays, I have this system that I pay and I receive the SMS, and I didn't put my wallet in the sack and I received the message, which means that the guy that created this system needs more capacity. And so, what I would like to transmit here is that we need qualitative and quantitative results. We need the quick and accurate communication, and the process of organization is recreating all the time, and we need to follow this. So the globalization is not just for economy, it's not just for the organizations that need to follow what happens in the market. I need to follow the organization. So if the organization needs to use AI, I need to learn how I can use this, how I can improve my activity, use this. Not just to say, no, I don't like. No, I needed to follow this tendency. I needed to learn with this. How I do that? The last slide, please. Could you change? I would like to live with this image because I love this image. And this is my final message for you. We need to step out of ourselves to get valuable knowledge and to innovate. Because what happened? We close normally with our ideas, our values, our conceptions, and we close ourselves on this. And what you need is open our minds to know different things, to see different things, to digest and start to innovate. Because if you continue close, we don't, first we don't innovate and you don't follow what happened in the world. Okay? Thank you so much.
Dr. Razin, Professor Dr. Razin, thank you so much for your valuable time. Being all the way from Paris, you invested all your time, and thank you so much. These are this particular topic is being discussed globally, everywhere, things are technical, things are difficult to understand at times, but I think it's all very useful information. Be it for management experts, for faculty, for students, and the industry across.
Okay.
I hope you're able to hear me. I hope I'm clear and audible.
I think her English is very slow, so you have to be slow.
Yeah. Hello?
Speed has to be slow.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I understood the end. Sorry.
I said it's a wonderful session and it's a very valuable session. More importantly, be it management experts, be it faculty, be it industry, everybody is actually talking about this and doing a lot of research. How AI is actually going to impact us, and how it's keeping that balance and knowing to upskill ourselves. So I think that's the journey. We have to keep on upskilling ourselves and know where to take AI's help and know where not. I think that's the journey.
Now it's a silence, I can listen what you say, because I listen you with a lot of rumors together and it was impossible to understand. I'm so
Okay.
sorry.
Okay.
Let them ask the
Ma'am,
question.
we have in fact, our guests as faculty and students have been listening to you very attentively. So they have a few questions. I will request the students to ask those questions. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
have this question. You mentioned about job suppression. So, how to tackle the problem of this job suppression as AI is replacing certain jobs, as we are seeing major layoffs taking place currently. So, what can be the long-lasting solution for this?
How I can give solutions for AI and
Replacing the jobs today, like layoffs are taking place. You mentioned about job suppression, right? Yeah, so I'm asking the solution for that problem.
yes, in reality, as I told during the speak, is that you don't have solution. You need, in reality, to look for how you improve this position. Okay? Because, for example, if you like the case that I told you is the case of the marketing design, that you can put the same activity for ChatGPT, okay? What you need? You need to see how improve the activity with a human being, okay? Because in the future, probably, this kind of the comments will be just for ChatGPT. So what you need is enrichment the position. Okay? Remember that when you study HR, you always in the industrial revolution you enrich the position because was too much automatic, and so you needed to enrich. You need to put more values in that specific activity. Now it's the same because some jobs will be finished. What you need to do is how I can improve this job, how I can improve this activity that I need the human being, not just the machine. In the case here is the AI, okay? But to cut this is impossible because this is evolution, okay? So unfortunately, we can say that job will be suppressed. Some jobs will be disappear.
Okay, okay, thank you, ma'am.
Come here.
Next to this. Yeah, be fast.
Ma'am, the next one, please come.
Next student, please.
Please come. Please come in front of the camera. Come this side.
Hello, ma'am.
Come this side, yeah.
So, as students, we have collected some questions and
Unmute.
this one was
Unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Now yes.
Okay. So, I have one question over here. Like, how can we prevent AI from discriminating against certain population based on the data that is generated? Can you give us some insights with that?
The creation about
How can we prevent AI from discriminating against certain population based on the data generated? Can you give some insights on that?
the discrimination normally about gender.
Against a certain population, any population, not just gender based.
Yes, in reality, as I told you, you have the human being behind. Okay, what you need is normal discrimination. Okay, you need the conscience that the guy that developed the algorithm and so on always have a woman being behind. So what you need is to prepare to analyze the decision is a woman being, and to prepare the prompt is a human being, and to prepare the algorithm is a human being. In other words, we need to prepare the guys and to prepare the woman being for the discrimination. We need, and how we prepare this campaign of consciousness. This is for all the minorities and gender and homophobia and all of them. Okay, because we try to say that no, nowadays you don't have more problem of the gender, and you continues with 35% as an average the gap salary around the world. Okay, and okay that you have a difference in the countries, and you continues with problems with race. You continues with problems of discrimination in all the kinds of the minorities. So what you need to change is not in AI. You need to change the mentality of human being that work with AI. Okay?
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. There's one more question, please.
Hello, ma'am. Okay. First of all, thank you so much for your amazing experience sharing with us. So, my question is, across cultural morals and norms and values differs. So, how can we AI assure fairness?
No, I'm sorry again.
Loudly.
Across culture, moral norms and values differ. So how can AI ensure fairness in this?
Values and I like your voice because it's easy to listen. But repeat just the question, please.
Across cultural morals, norms, and values, how AI differs ensure fairness?
It's almost the same question of what I said before. Sometimes the people forgot that it's not the AI the problem. The problem when you talk about values, discrimination, and so on, it's the human being that work with AI. Okay? Because AI don't have values. AI don't have discrimination. AI don't do nothing this. Who do that is the guys that create the AI, is the guys that analyze after the result of AI. Okay, so it's the same. Okay, you really need to prepare the guy. Yesterday I was in one meeting with the COSE to discuss with the students and professors the behavior. And the student told me, but I want more process. I teach intercultural management. But I want more process about the international position and study case studies about this and that. And they told me, look, my discipline is focused in competence and skills. What we need is to develop the people to work with this process. Okay? What we need is develop the people better to work with AI because they are responsible with their values, their discrimination, their vision, their way to, their posture in front of all this process. Okay? So in reality, what happens nowadays with this new generation is that they would like to put focus just on the process, the product, and they forgot that you need to change yourself first. Okay, you need to see how you work with this. And these people, if you can change it, is automatically you change AI.
Okay. So can you please guide me that what are the, as being a fresher, what is the basic AI tools that we can upgrade ourselves into it?
Again, the problem is to understand. I'm so sorry.
Loudly and slowly.
Okay, am I audible, ma'am?
You're not audible, Kanchan.
Hello,
Shout
am I
it.
audible now?
Just shout more.
Come here.
Yes.
Come here.
Yes, you are. Please.
Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay.
So-
Just speak slow because high and slow.
Yeah, slow.
The
So
speed-
being a fresher, like can you please suggest us one AI tool that we can upgrade ourselves by learning and earning it more?
Wait, I try to repeat your question. When AI can be learning,
The students are first year students of MBA. Can you suggest to them an AI tool which they can learn and use?
day as a professor. I use AI every day as a consultant. How I use that? First of all, I use like input. I know I'm not with my glasses, but I have Meta in my glasses when I'm around. Why? Because I ask why everything. My mom always said that I enter when I was kid in the why, because kid ask always why this, why that, and I never stop this phase in my life. Okay? And so my husband give me this glass with a Meta that I can ask for Meta everything because I'm walking and I ask. And so to learn and for students, curiosity is the first thing. And you need to ask. You can use AI to have inputs for your discipline. Okay? It's the way that help you to do more research, help you to have more data about what you are studying, help you to learn more. Don't don't answer your homeworks. I always say to my students, if you'd like to use ChatGPT to answer the case study, you can take the inputs and you finalize with your ideas, okay? But you can take the inputs from them because they open, it's like the third person that tell you, you forgot to see this angle, you forgot to see this, okay? And that alone you don't see. So it's really important. The problem of the student is not that they copy and paste. This is not correct, okay? And what is, but when you use it the correct way, it's amazing because you learn more, okay? It's like, why I prefer in teams, working teams, because when you discuss in teams, the ideas that don't appear in our mind during the discussion appear. It's the same with AI. When you see the answer of the AI, you say, oh, but why I didn't think this before, you know? And with this, you rewrite with your words, with your interpretation. Okay? So, in my opinion, the AI for learning is amazing. And inside of the organization is the same, because you do the report with this, you know, and he worked after, because open your mind to understand better our life.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Hello ma'am, bonjour. Smriti this side. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, now yes. Speak slowly because I need to listen well. Slowly.
Yeah ma'am, bonjour. Smriti this side. My question to you is, what freshers are required to prepare in AI-driven HR while entering job market?
For the job market, what AI requires, the requirements. As I told you, nowadays, the prerequisites to work normally is in terms of the competence. What you need is competence to work with this. You need to understand how you work with the technology. You need to have shared knowledge of the language. This is the first thing, the English. I always repeat this because I live in France and my French students is a little complicated. But you need, first of all, English is really important. But to enter in the market now, normally for this generation, they know that you are comfortable with the technology. Okay? So they will ask which kind of competence you have with the tools. Okay? So they will ask you are comfortable with Excel, PowerPoint, and AI. development of algorithm, for example, if you know how you create these videos and video interview analytics, and so depend of the area that you decide to work, you need, if you improve a little bit more your knowledge about AI for a specific area, will be great. In terms of HR, for example, if you know how to develop one video analytic for selection, how you develop the analysis of CV, okay? So how you use the tools that is the best tools for selection, or the best tools for marketing, or the best tools for supply chain. It's not necessary you know all the tools, okay? But you need to choose the area that you'd like to work, and choose what you need to learn.
Thank you.
Okay? I just tell that
Now I want to ask a question.
just more one because of the time. I need to take the train.
Okay.
Okay. Is it okay if I ask you a question now? Ma'am, is it okay?
Yeah, please
Rosanna?
ask in short.
Yeah.
What? One question?
You made one statement that your time is your time and my time is my time. This is what the French government talks about. Now, what happens is, if your time becomes my time and my time becomes your time, there would be a downtick in the happiness index. So if that happens, then what happens to the attrition? Will the attrition happen in the companies when the company invade into my time, and if it is not taken care of, that would result in burnouts and people leaving the jobs?
I'm not sure if I understood the complete question.
One
I
more
will
question.
try to answer in terms of my time and the time of the organization, and how I can combine this. Remember, I tried to finalize
Give me
with
that.
this. In reality, I needed to follow the changement around the world. I needed to adapt myself for the needs of the organization, okay? The organization in another side needed to adapt themselves for this new reality. How they do that? They needed to adapt themselves for the 5 generations that you have inside of the company, and this means that you have one generation that hate the technology, okay, and the last generation won't grow with technology. So you have 5 different generations working nowadays in the company, and the company needs to adapt to be flexible, the manager, and prepare the managers for that, to live with this, and in terms of AI or just the technology, okay? And in this sense, you have here one compromise for both, okay? I as a person, need to adapt my time and my need and my wishes with here. Nobody received to be unhappy. If I'm not like my job, I need to change, because I just produce well if I like what I'm doing. But I need to, this is my side, okay? So I need to adapt myself, I need to grow, I don't need to wait the company to invest on me, okay? I need to grow alone. This is one thing. Another thing is the company that needed to take care about me, needed to take care about the environment, needed to try to arrive in my level of the needs also, okay? So it's one compromise that you arrive together in this sense, Okay? So it's not mine and yours, it's one compromise that together you arrive in the end. I'm not sure if I answered completely your question, because in the end,
You're right. There's always a compromise because either of them need each other. So somebody switched
each
off.
other. I just,
Mike has been switched off. She's unable to hear. No, you are absolutely right. I said that's how life goes on. There's always a compromise and there's always a trade-off that happens. So both need each other. There has to be some kind of a trade-off. Somebody, succumbing to someone in order to retain a job, and the company also needs that person for its growth.
no, I really don't understand your point of view. What you think about it, I can agree or not. I don't understand the context of your question, sorry.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you once again. So before we close, I request Dr. Patil sir to just give his closing remarks.
So, respected Dr. Rosanna Rees, madam, this is Dr. Patil this side. We are connected on LinkedIn, and certainly it's been a very great experience for our students. Hope I am audible to you, madam. Madam, are you able to listen to me? Okay, great. So, we are very much thankful to you for addressing our students for this great opportunity of international conference. The first meeting we had, you remember, two of us, me and Professor Katige, we had spoken to you, and it was after that we followed up for that particular meeting after that, and you have spared your valuable time to speak to our students, and it's really been a great understanding and so many lessons that our students have learned about artificial intelligence into the HR management. So we are very thankful to you, madam, for sparing your valuable time. And thank you so much, madam. Okay.
Thank you. I just, before to go, I just would like to say thank you again for the invitation. Thank you again to share my things with you. It was really amazing time. Okay? Bye guys, see you.
So, students, overall, how were the two sessions that we have? The first session we have seen that the speaker was at a different way that she explained the various concepts. She also was a learned person, a doctorate and all that was there. And certainly it was it was more of an interactive session at that time. The second time when we are meeting, the second speaker also was equally learner. She also is a doctorate and senior associate professor at ISG University Paris. And of course they were from the same specialization, HRM. So certainly, but at times we need to create that learning environment, being the audience, being the listeners. We will have many such sessions, maybe online or at times offline also. So it's up to us how we make those sessions interesting. My question to you before I pass on this mic to respected Rupa ma'am for the vote of thanks. What is the aim of this session? Such type of sessions, if you can tell me, what is the objective of such sessions? Would you explain to me that? Yeah, to be aware of the current trends and the future trends. Anything else? Gain knowledge. Gain in-depth knowledge about particular topic? Yes or no? So very important point you put. Apart from that, can there be some strategic objective, some critical objective for the institution? Can it be there? Apart from this, can there be some other objective also? Do you want to build relations with other organizations so that they can come to our campus? Maybe the speaker is not that great, but certainly for the institution, the association with those organizations matters more. Yes or no? At times the industry person is there, he may not be able to speak English, but ultimately he is going to offer the appointment letter to you. Yes or no? So the same case here also, how we can leverage our networks, how we can take advantage of those particular associations, and how we can make it more meaningful, a relation with that particular organization becomes